The Department of the Navy has issued a point paper informing GovGuam that U.S. military ships and aircraft are exempt from inspections by the Guam Customs and Quarantine Agency. But Guam Customs has had jurisdiction over military ships and aircraft for decades, and the matter has raised red flags as it indicates an effort to change the policy. Now, the point paper cites the Supremacy Clause as its justification, stating vessels of war are not required to be inspected. It also states, quote, under no circumstances may Guam authorities be permitted to exercise governmental authority, nor may they inspect a ship or aircraft. But Senator Frank Blas counters that, citing the Defense Transportation Regulation, which clearly gives Customs authority to inspect arriving vessels.
The Defense Transportation Regulation, which is basically the Customs Bible for the Department of Defense, clearly spells out certain mandates or certain regulations that have to be followed by DoD, worldwide. It identifies areas. It identifies the areas within the U.S. Customs territories. It identifies areas that are, within other nations. Then there's a little section called Chapter 509 that states basically that if this regulation, this manual, does not cover, or the jurisdiction, such as Guam, is if it's not covered in this manual, then you have to follow this chapter. In this chapter, it says that DoD will follow the mandates and the laws of the customs authority in that jurisdiction. There it is.
Blas says there are serious concerns with regard to the proposed restrictions, especially in light of the impending military buildup. He adds, it is suspect, especially in light of the recent controversy over a military shipment allowed to be sent from the Guam shipyard, circumventing port policies and procedures. Blas suggesting the policy change could be to allow future shipments to be sent in such a manner.
I find it very suspicious that this letter comes out on the heels of, the incident that occurred at the naval ship at the Guam shipyard. Maybe somebody's testing the waters here to see whether or not we're going to throw up our red flags and whether or not we're going to protest and contest these things. I think that we have to protect ourselves, not only economically, but also environmentally, in ensuring that, we do the best that we could to protect our island from invasive species, but also to be able to collect the revenues needed as a result of the activities, the unloading and offloading of cargo activity.
The governor's office is part of a working group which includes the U.S. military, Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo, and senators. Legal counsel Ray Haddock says the issue came up during talks surrounding the military buildup, and the U.S. military is only referring to warships, which they say should be exempt from customs inspections.
What I want to make clear about that point paper is that it only related to the search of war vessels. The military has always acknowledged that Guam Customs has the authority to inspect all of the people and cargo that come off of war vessels or any vessels on or planes within the military premises. So the inspection really wasn't the concern of the things that come off. It's just whether or not they could walk through and inspect vehicles or vessels of war, such as battleships or aircraft carriers or whatever type of submarine or anything that comes into the port.
No decisions have been made, and the matter was a suggestion as the group works to establish guidelines and fees for ships which will be arriving.
That's the only the issue that we have with them right now is where does the search stop? Does it stop on the outside of the ship or does it stop within?
Meanwhile, Guam Customs and Quarantine officials says all ships are subject to inspections by Guam Customs and Quarantine, which serves as an agent for the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Department of Agriculture. According to officials, all ships and aircraft are subject to inspection for agricultural and public health purposes. The only exemption would be for foreign ships of war, although anything that comes off of those ships would be searchable by Guam Customs agents. Customs officials say, however, that out of courtesy, foreign vessels have allowed customs agents to conduct their searches.